Hello. What's up? I'm Andrew, and I'm about to start driving home after work. I figured I would start, I guess, a YouTube channel. So this is my attempt to, not really much of a public speaker, to be perfectly honest. And I find that it's a lot easier for me to think out loud and like figure stuff out. All right, I'm fucking going later. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't have sworn. Sorry, lady. I'm not much public speaker. I do really well just like talking to myself, kind of, and just like that's how I think really well. So this is kind of my attempt at doing that, and I intend to share this on YouTube, the video sharing platform that we're all familiar with and love, mostly. The ads are crazy these days. It pisses me off, honestly. But yeah, I guess as like a brief introduction, I'm 25. My birthday was in September. It's currently February, end of February, the 24th. I live in the Bay Area. I'm a software engineer. Of course I am. I grew up here. Of course I did. Went to NYU, was there for 6 years, got laid off twice, came back here, live at home. So I would say this is like, okay, obviously I didn't really think this through. It was like, there's no script. I'm just making this shit up on the spot. But the main goal for me by doing this is just to kind of like share what I'm going through as a Gen Z white collar worker, who, you know, I like, you know, you can draw your own conclusions based on what I say, but my main goal is just like be open about everything, share what's going on, what I'm thinking, kind of like what I'm feeling, the struggles I have, how I'm dealing with them. Because I guess what I've seen a lot of on Instagram, I don't have TikTok because I'm just kidding. I don't have TikTok, but I see a lot of content creators, and they kind of, you know, share a lot of like day in the life type of stuff. And, you know, as much as I do appreciate that, I feel like I guess there's a bit of a gap for, or maybe I just haven't seen this, so I could be wrong. But I guess I want to kind of share like the journey of, so that means the start of my journey, but like the journey of like going from being very lost and confused, just kind of like exploring and figuring things out. So I really want to kind of follow along this, what the hell is that, idea of, you know, just trying stuff and doing my best when I can, you know, and that doesn't look the same every day. So I guess this is like in part a reflection of what I've learned over the years, what I'm learning now, what I'm trying to learn, and just sharing that journey with you guys. So, oh my god, you guys, I sound like I have followers. I don't. This is my first video, and yeah, I believe I will name the channel Your Friend Andrew. I've had that name in my mind for a little while, and yeah, I think that gives enough context. I'm sure I will revisit this topic on like why I'm doing this, the benefits to me, what I want. So I do want to I want to highlight that I do not intend to make money off of this. This is strictly, you know, I'm aware of like content production is, you know, a way to make money and like have your kind of side gig. This is quite literally just something I like to do. I used to do this on my Finsta, private Insta. I never knew why it was called Finsta, but private Instagram for like, you know, close friends, and I would just record myself talking and just like share what the fuck was going on in my life, which even then wasn't like totally open, and I think that is something I struggle with, like emotional capacity. So I guess that is kind of like the first topic I wanted to share and address, and I do want to say thank you. I'm not going to name her, but I do have a very good friend who I recently reconnected with, and she kind of just told me like, yeah, you should do it. Like, if you want to make an Instagram or make a YouTube channel, you should do it. Like, I think there's no better time, you know. And here's my attempt. Gosh, let's get it go. Whatever. Yeah. I also don't know if driving while I'm doing this is the best, but this is like the most like alone time I kind of get. And normally when I'm driving, I am just singing karaoke to whatever song I have in my like playlist, whatever comes up. So I think this might be a better use of my time. It's more like brain on and like mentally engaging than singing karaoke. I'm pretty sure I hit this. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you know, I think there are days where this will be applicable and days where the karaoke will be applicable, since, is this guy going? Oh, he is going. He kind of, because yeah, I think the karaoke is great for days where I'm like brain dead from the day of work, you know, mentally exhausted. But I also think that this kind of brain dump would also be a good way to empty that mind. Let me go middle lane. Yeah, empty my mind and kind of prepare myself for, I guess, the 5 to 9, which isn't always 5 to 9 for me. And yeah, I mean, it takes like 20-30 minutes to get home, or to whatever my like third place is, if I am doing that. So I think this is sufficient time, and hopefully my phone has enough storage to process everything. But yeah. If you haven't noticed by now, I'm a big yapper and I go on tangents and I often lose track of things. So that is also something I'm trying to address as part of this. Just like staying on topic, following through on things. Even though this is just like a brain dump. So that's perfectly okay. But I guess like that is something I've meant to work on over time, because I think I do get like kind of lost in the weeds when it's like details. I'm thinking of like what kind of context I need to give this person that I'm talking to. Yeah, so just like cleaning up my discussion and explanation of things. So anyway, rolling back to the main topic that I want to address, is just like shit, did I forget already? I think it was, I did not say male, but very specifically just like the male experience or general experience of like being someone who doesn't really know what they're doing in life. And I think that's very applicable to me. So to give full context, again, I work as a software engineer. Grew up in the Bay Area, South Bay. Almost everyone I went to high school with is a software engineer. I work with someone I went to high school with. That's perfectly normal. So I think what I struggle with is kind of finding purpose in life. I'm not someone who's like very like tied to software engineering. Like I was never really sure about it. My parents put me into like CS courses when I was in middle school and high school. They'd put me in like summer camps, like winter programs, just like after schools where we'd like learn stuff. And I didn't really like it or like have a knack for it back then. Like I think I took intro to programming in like Java, C++, maybe Python, at least those two, multiple times. I didn't take it at school. I took APCS straight away. I didn't get into like the intro to programming class in my junior year, and then I think junior or senior year I took APCS, and yeah, I didn't really get it. Like I cheated quite a lot. I was hesitant to say that, just because I don't want this to like reflect badly on me in general, but it's true, so I'm sharing it. I cheated quite a lot, like on all the assignments. I think there was like a shared GitHub, or someone like from a previous class, years prior, had uploaded all of their assignments to GitHub, and if you just searched like the assignment name, you would find it. Like it was very readily available. She did not private the repos, and the code worked. It would just have like her name on it, so really all you had to do was like download raw text or like download file, and then go in, edit her name to your name, and then maybe change the date, and you could submit it as is. And I did that for most of the year. So, you know, not proud of it, but I didn't learn anything. I didn't care, really. Like, I had, at that point, I think I wanted to be a dentist more than anything, and CS is not really in line with that. So I didn't care. And then I think a month before, maybe like a month or 2 months before the AP exam, we took our like mock, and I got a 2 out of 5, which is the highest score for an AP exam. So that's obviously not very good, and it's like a total waste of time and money if I take it, because I think it was like 100 something per AP exam. And my mom decides, all right, or, you know, you're not, I don't know if I told her I got a 2, but she found out I was terrible at this class. She was like, let's go get tutoring. So she sent me to this nearby place for tutoring. I think I went every Saturday for a couple weeks, you know, within this 2-month span. I don't think I went that many times. I want to say it was like 4 to 6 times. And I would just go for a couple hours, just drill like CS concepts, and I ended up getting 4. I went from like scoring 1s and 2s on the practice exams to getting like 4s and 5s pretty regularly in that time period. And then I got a 4 on the actual exam, which is sufficient for, you know, credit at college. And I'm not saying this in like a way to brag, but it's just like, I think my experience for much of my life has been, I guess, the gifted child experience. Like, I've never been like top of the class. Everyone I've gone to school with has been smarter than me, up until like high school, in my opinion. And I say smarter than me as in like their grades were very good. They seemed to like put a lot of effort into work, and into their homework and learning. And I didn't. I would just do like absolute bare minimum, because that was what was kind of needed of me. I always wanted to go play sports. I played basketball. I did track. I didn't even put like full effort into all of these things. So I was just kind of lost, and I would play a lot of video games, and that was really like most of my time. So I do kind of, I guess I've never thought about it before, but now talking about it, I do feel like I could have been, you're like, you know, what could have been if I had kind of like understood how to learn. And I never figured that out until like my senior year of college. I went through college not knowing how to study or learn, really. Like, I'd show up at the library and I'd like be there, but it was just kind of, it was very performative. I think it was probably the best word to use for it. Like, I'd just go because other my friends were going. I'd go because that's like, I felt like that was where I was supposed to go, or like, it, you know, it was, maybe it was just like a better place to sit and study than my dorm room or my apartment, which it was for the most part. Like, the environment was absolutely better for like getting stuff done, but I never really learned anything. Like, I would just absorb kind of enough to do what was asked of the, and like in the assignment. And once I got the assignment done, I forgot about it. And I would get, you know, like okay grades. It wasn't anything special. Like, I finished college with a 3.2 after dragging it up from like 2.7 to start. So, you know, pretty not special. And that GPA has like held me back from getting into more, I don't want to say prestigious, but like quantitative firms. Citadel has rejected me multiple times just because my GPA was too low. You know, even after they're the ones who like reached out and like, yo, like, yeah, are you looking for a job? And I'm like, yeah, I'm down. Do you work for Citadel? Yeah, I'm down. You know, money's pretty good. What's your GPA? Ooh, 3.2, and instant rejection. Sometimes I would even lie. I would tell them like it's 3.6. Well, not me. I would tell them 3.6. 3.7, because I always heard like 3.5 is like the minimum to get into places like Google or like Facebook. Like, I heard they would ask for your resume, or yeah, like your transcript to see. Not true, by the way. But yeah, it was just like wow, even if I lie and say 3.8, they still like auto reject me. I was like, what are you looking for, you know? So obviously never worked at one of those high frequency trading funds, even though I was in New York. And I think I'm glad, because I think the work that just does not align with like who I am. So maybe it is a good filter. Yeah, I think in general I'm just like not a hard worker when it comes to things that I could really care less about. And I think that is an unfortunate part of being in like corporate America. So I work for a big company, and I am absolutely like not in control of what I am working on, which I don't mind, honestly. It is just kind of like a continuation of my life. You go to school, you get assignments. It's like you don't get to choose your assignment, you just kind of do it. Like you get to choose like what book you write a book report on. You get to choose like a topic for a presentation, or if you have to make a reenactment of the Scarlet Letter and combine it with a modern film, you get to choose the modern film. That is an assignment I did. And there's like a little bit of flexibility around all these things. It's like how you do it, the implementation details, and like your justifications. But at the end of the day, like the full direction of a lot of stuff that I've done in my life has just not been up to me. And I also don't really feel like I care that much. Like it's worked out fine, I guess, is like the reason for that. Like I have a job, I make sufficient, very good money. I'm able to do all the things I like to do. Like I can leave at 5. Like today I left at 5. Sometimes I leave later when I'm not finished. But I don't really need to. I'm not tied down by work. The thing is like perfect for me. Like I can go do the stuff I want to do, which is like I love playing volleyball. I love surfing. I like playing video games every once in a while. I'm playing a lot of Satisfactory right now. I fucking love trains. I was so excited to build some more trains today and redo the entire main station. Whew. So, I'd say I'm happy. But yeah, like I think zooming out, it becomes a little bit more like, ooh, like what am I doing in my life? Like what do I want 10 years from now, 30 years from now? And I think what I want, it doesn't really feel achievable anymore. I think when I had first, so my mom decided that I would go to school for computer science. I had an option to go to a pre-dental school, and she said no. So obviously with like the layoffs in the last couple of years that I was affected by, there was some like blaming of her internally. I never told her that directly, but I did feel that way. And I think that's just one of the things where it's like do I love what I'm doing enough to like get through this tough time? And I think the answer was no. For the most part, I ended up getting back, and I am not really planning on switching in the near future. But my eventual exit plan was to leave, like software, tech in general. Oh my God, these people don't know how to drive. If you didn't know I lived in the Bay Area, here's your reminder. Yeah. So, my original idea was that I would work in tech, make enough to retire early, and support my family, kids, and my college, etc. And then be able to retire from tech early enough that I could become a teacher. So I really love education and what it does for it opens opportunities for people. And I think a few years ago, the whole like affirmative action thing went around for colleges, and as an Asian American, it was like, oh, you guys are kind of being oppressed and like not accepted into like top tier schools because you are blah blah blah. I actually don't really remember exactly what happened there, because I was already in college by the time it happened. The ruling happened. I actually don't remember what the result was either, but I do remember thinking about it, and I think at the end of the day, like by the time you get to college, a lot of the stuff is already decided. Like you've already decided on a major, and like you're allowed to change it, but like, you don't have that much time to like change what you're gonna do with your life, you know. And not everyone goes to college, so I think at like the middle school and high school stages, or at the middle school and high school levels, like that's kind of when people figure out like a lot of direction in their life. Like they figure out the direction that they want to take like the next couple of years into like as they transition into young adults. And I think that's really crucial to me. I think that's like where the most benefit could come out of, especially because I think people come to America still with, I don't know if they still do this, but like, you know, is the whole like land of opportunity thing. Like people come here because there's a chance to like go make something of yourself. You can do whatever you want, more or less, you know, within legal constraints and like financial constraints. But you should be able to. You're given the opportunities to do most anything, and I think that really happens for kids at the middle school, high school levels, where they're like starting to learn stuff that's like could be pretty useful, could be more like career defining for them. You know, like, are you taking, okay, this is gonna sound stupid, but you know, just like advanced math courses, science courses, whatever you're interested in. You have like electives get introduced, where it's like you get to pick what kind of class you want to take. Like, do you want to learn how to cook? Do you want to learn how to woodwork, art, drama? There's a lot more diversity in like what you get to choose. So I think that's where it happens. And then also like, yeah, not everyone goes to college, wants to go to college, can afford college, and that's rough. So I think I wanted to become a public school teacher or just like some kind of tutor for like people who have less opportunities, because I think at the end of the day, money buys opportunities. Money buys, like I went to tutoring for that APCS course, that comes from money. Like if you don't have money, you can't do that. You take a loan, but then you know, that shit sucks. And you're like very uninclined to do it. But when you have money, you can be like, yeah, let me go get a tutor. Let me go get a good tutor who costs a lot of money. So I think offering some kind of like education, I think public education is probably the best way to go, because I think if I wanted to offer my like best case scenarios, like I offer some kind of like math, science tutoring to, or like, you know, teaching to kids who like maybe are very inspired or like very interested in like hardworking, but don't have, their families aren't able to afford like schools or like you know, their opportunities to go find, you know, more dedicated tutors or like teaching learning opportunities for them. Yeah, like I think there's a lot of challenges with that. Just like, you know, finding out like who deserves it, pretty much. Like, who am I wasting my time with, like kids and families who are just taking advantage of like the fact that this is a low cost thing that I'm offering. Like that's that's a problem I don't know how to solve. I haven't really thought about it enough, I guess. Yeah, that was like my goal. And the other one was just become a freaking marine biologist. Like I love marine biology. I love whales, sharks, tide pooling is super fun. It's like I would like to do it, and it's not a option with like a lot of money in it, so I've never even really like considered it properly. But yeah, like, you know, living in the Bay, I think it's something I might try to look into pursuing again and exploring on the side. And yeah, I mean, it could even just be a fun hobby. Like I don't have to become a scientist in that. I don't know if that's possible anymore. It would take a lot of work and time, and so, like, given everything else in my life is like going generally the right way, it's like I don't want to give that up by like dropping what I'm doing to pursue this dream. I think that is like a limitation. It's just like, you know, where do my values lie? And it's like a family is pretty important to me. Yeah, so I think those are kind of the struggles I'm reaching, and I'm definitely feeling more and almost like certain that I will just like stay where I am, career wise, not like, you know, my level, but like I don't intend to like go on a crazy swap in my career anymore. Like I might have considered a few years ago when I was first laid off. And yeah, my life since moving back from New York, and I guess I was in LA last year, but my life just feels very flat. Like it's stable. Everything kind of goes how I expect it. I'm like going on trips. You know, I went to my first wedding for a friend in Mexico. I just play volleyball like sometimes a whole lot in a week. I think I capped out at like 20 times in a week because I would play in the morning and then I would play in the afternoon twice. Like 20 sessions, I guess, like at different locations or like different. It wouldn't be like a connected like one session. So it'd be like play at work in the morning. I'd play somewhere else after, or like I might play again after work, and then I would play indoor at like league. So it's 3 times in one day, and then I could do that, 5 days a week. And if I really want to, there's also like late night open gym. I could push it, and there's like midday open gyms that I could go to. I haven't gone to those since I've been at work, but they exist. And then Saturday, Sunday, you can go fucking crazy, especially over summer. There's like grass, there's beach, there's still indoor. So, I would kind of say it's like making the most out of like what I have. But yeah, I mean, like you do that like the first time you do it, it's like yay, like super fun. You do it a couple more weeks in a row, and it starts to get a little boring. So I think I just like miss that variety in life, and I add that. I think the way I was adding that to my life was by trying new restaurants, cafes, working at different locations, buying stuff. Retail therapy was like a big part of my experience last year. I grew up playing basketball, and like I would see a lot of my teammates who are much better get like cool new shoes, and my dad would take me straight to like clearance at the back of the Nike, and I'd get like, I eventually was getting like pretty nice shoes, all things said. Oh my god, people do not know how to drive. This guy scared me. Okay. Yeah, like pretty decent shoes, but I've never really, it would all just be like envy of like other people. And now it's like I still play indoor volleyball. I wear basketball shoes, so I just buy them, and it's like sick. So not something I'm like super proud of. I would say I'm like a collector. I do wear like most of them. There are a few where I'm just like, oh, I wouldn't, like, I like having it. I don't really wear it. It just like looks really nice. Or I'm afraid to like bust it up, because I have busted up some shoes. Yeah. I don't know. It's a weird middle place. I guess this is my quarter life crisis. So yeah, I guess that's what I'm sharing here. And yeah, the most important thing is definitely like my emotional connection with people. I think opening up to friends, family is something I've started working on last year, and just like active work in progress today. Like last week, I told my parents I was interested in someone, and then my dad immediately, I think this might have just been a coincidence, but he asked me first, was like, oh, do you have a girlfriend? I was like, no, but I'm interested in someone. And he's just like, oh, I was wondering if you wanted to meet my coworker's sister's daughter. I'm like, I think my first impression of that was that he was like trying to ward me away from, drag me away, guide me away from the person I was interested in, and like pitch me to this this acquaintance of his, I guess. I don't know how to describe it, but I didn't take that very well. And yeah, I was just like had a couple of like stern talking tos to my parents. I was just like, don't say these things. Don't ask me about this. Like, stop. Like, just don't interfere with my love life. This is like none of your business, more or less, until I tell you it's your business. And like me trying to share with them like for the first time in a couple years, and it goes like that, and it's just like shit, you know, like I don't really want to do it anymore. So that was a bit of a bummer. I tried. We'll try again. But yeah, that's you know, ongoing roadblock. And then, you know, with my friends, I do try to share more and more. I think I've done a pretty good job of that. Like I do share like how I feel, but like it's weird to like cross the gap between going from someone who doesn't share much to like suddenly sharing very much, and then finding out like my friends don't necessarily have the same views or like agreements on things, or like, or they can't, maybe I don't really feel like they can take it seriously. And then it's like, okay, I don't really want to share with you anymore, but I'm not telling them that. I'm just internalizing it. So I think that's also something to share and work on. Just like, hey, like, you know, I do want to talk about this to you, like, but if you keep responding to me in this way, I'm gonna start not wanting to do that. It's something I don't do very well, or have not done very well, and I would like to do better. Yeah. Struggles of being a emotionally closed off man, boy, young man, I don't know. Yeah, I'm just trying to take care of myself and set myself up to be a better person every day. Yeah. Okay, my mouth is dry. I don't want to talk anymore. Yeah, I don't even know if I'm going to upload this because that felt very disorganized, but I think I should, and then I'll look back to this as like where I started, which I think is great. Like, it's better to start than, you know, start now. I'm not going to get better at any of the things I said I wanted to get better at if I don't commit to doing this. Or, okay, that's not true, but like if I don't commit to doing this, then this is not going to help. I think it's a better way to put it. Like, I could still get better at it. It's just not necessarily this way. Ooh, I think my mom is home. Nice. I think she's letting me go first. Yeah. All right. Well, there concludes my first attempt at being a vlogger. Or I don't like that term. First attempt at content creation. No editing, because I'm lazy and I don't want to figure it out. And I drove pretty safely during that. Cool. See you later.